Sitting alone and cold, Adam shivers under his moth-eaten blanket. He waits for his family to return from a hard day's field work. Adam has neither the strength nor the ability to be out in the field like the rest of his family, tending the crops. Coughing into his hand, Adam wishes for the day where he's muscular like his older brother, or dirty-minded like his sister. That's when the door creaks open, and his mother steps inside the barely lit hovel they called home, with an uncharacteristic smile. Georgia, his mother, enters with an unusual swagger. She's wearing her finest clothes, passed down from her mother. She's not so typically joyful. Georgia, Henry, Adam's dad, complains as he follows her into the house. I wouldn't want our daughter working at that place, so why have you said that they can have Adam? Curious he's being spoken about, Adam sits up in bed and watches his entire family plow through into the small kitchen at the front of their insignificant home. How's that going to work? Louise, Adam's elder sister, asks with a look of confusion. He's a boy. Hardly. Tom, his elder brother, laughs. He looks more like a girl. Thomas, Georgia scolds, gently rapping her son across the back of his head with her palm. You know he's unwell. It's not his fault he can't eat without being sick. Frustrated he's been told off, Tom frowns. Well, when all we get is to eat moldy old bread, milk on the turn, and beer, Tom chats back. No wonder he can't keep it down. Didn't do me any harm, Adam's dad interrupts. Also, stop complaining. At least we have food on our table. Henry then turns his back to his wife and shakes his head. I know we need the money, Georgia, but selling our youngest son to the castle to be a maid for the princess is ridiculous. Even if he does look more girly than Louise with that long hair, he's still a boy. Bemused at what's happening, Adam gulps as the entire family stares at him. He indeed feels very guilty that he can't, thanks to his sickness, but to be a maid. Is that a good idea, he wonders. Adam, his mother says softly, approaching the bed. We've got you a job that I think you'll be able to do even though you're sick. The princess requested a new maid with hair like yours, and we need the money. Mom? Worried he will let the family down. Means you're going to have to pretend to be a girl. Louise pipes up as she approaches his bed. Putting her hand through her matted hair, Louise becomes frustrated. Should be me, she whines. But I'm having to work the fields because you're so weak, brother. Poking Adam with one of her dirty fingers, Louise sighs. You better not mess this up for the family, you runt. I have it killed to be a maid at the castle and wear lovely clothes and that. What? Adam meekly replies. Being the center of attention is a little overwhelming, and he doesn't know what to say or do. Don't be so jealous, Georgia says to Louise. I'm sure Adam would rather work in the fields if he could. Not much of a life for a boy that has to borrow a dress and pretend to be a girl. Pretend to be a girl? Adam questions with a nervous squeak. Stupid, isn't it? Henry chuckles. I'm sure he'll soon bulk up. No need to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and pretend our youngest is something he's not. He's good money, Henry, Georgia counters. As a maid at a castle, he'll earn almost double what he could working in the fields. It makes complete sense. What if they find out? Henry retorts. They'll blame us, and I certainly don't want to lose my head. Georgia reaches across to Adam, runs her fingers through his long platinum blonde hair, and smiles. That'll never tell, she laughs. Our son is more girly than our daughters. Even his shoulders are slimmer. Fine, Henry puffs, holding his arms in defeat. But don't blame me if he messes this up. He's not good at anything else, and I'm not sure why you think he'd make a good maid. Good, Georgia grins. We've got to give him up to the castle tomorrow morning. That gives us the rest of the day to adjust one of Louise's dresses to his size. One of mine? Louise says, surprised. That's not fair. Stop moaning, girl, Georgia scolds. The next day. Adam was not given any say in the matter, nor did he have the energy to argue. Getting him out of bed, Georgia dresses him in Louise's underwear, and even that's loose on his tiny frame. Being a little embarrassed he's wearing his sister's clothes, Adam couldn't help but finally feel wanted in his family for the first time. Pleased at the attention his mother and sister are giving him, he happily gets into the dress they gave him and doesn't complain as they adjust it to his skinnier frame. "Want me to brush his hair?" Louise asks. "Please," Georgia replies with a mouth full of pigtails. As Georgia makes the final adjustments to the dress he's going to borrow, he looks down at himself and a small smile appears. The long skirt wafts freely around his legs. The tights feel warm and soft. The heels on the shoes give him extra height and make him feel a little less insignificant. Even the corset of the dress feels good to him. Expecting it to be so tight he can't breathe, Adam is pleasantly surprised. "What's his name going to be?" Louise asks, casually chatting as he puts his hair into pigtails. Cinching in the sides, Georgia doesn't answer as she sews the dress together. "Francis?" Louise suggests. Georgia shakes her head. "Bethany?" Louise suggests again after a second of thought. Not liking either of those names, Adam unexpectedly interrupts. "Sabrina?" he suggests nervously. "Sabrina?" Georgia asks, reacting to his suggestion. "Have you given this some thought, Adam?" Going a little shy, Adam looks away from his mum's stare but nods in agreement. "I like that," Louise interjects. "Now I've seen him in a dress. Sabrina does suit him." "Sabrina it is then," Georgia chuckles. "But that surprises me, Adam. Are you looking forward to this?" Adam nods his head. "I don't mind being a girl if that means I can get out of this house more." "Good boy," Georgia smiles, patting him gently on the side. "Or should I say, girl?" Adam grins, showing a toothy smile for the first time in months. And so Adam's first day at the castle arrives. Having been taken to the front gate by horse and cart, he stands in awe of the massive stone walls surrounding the building. Adam has to take a deeper breath as the gentle breeze plays delicately with his long skirt and pigtails. "Sabrina, are you okay?" Georgia asks, standing behind her son, now newly anointed daughter. Sabrina coughs into her hand, but then looks up with a smile. "Yes, I'm excited." Georgia gets down on her knees and looks into Sabrina's eyes. "Remember your place. As a maid, you're expected to do all sorts of jobs. If you're unsure, just do what the other girls do." Sabrina nods as he listens carefully to his mother. "And don't get undressed in front of anyone," Georgia continues, touching Sabrina's rosy red cheeks. "And remember to brush your hair every night." "Yes, Mom," Sabrina replies with a bashful smile. "Don't worry. If being a girl makes you proud of me, I consider myself a girl." Georgia gets to her feet and gently pats Sabrina on the head. "Good girl." Sabrina follows alongside her mother and looks at the massive, solid stone walls. "I'll be safe here, won't I?" he asks. "Absolutely," Georgia replies, looking down at him. "You might even meet the princess. She's about your age, you know." Leaving Sabrina anxious about meeting someone from the royal family, they cross the drawbridge and speak to the guard at the castle entrance. Being both peasants, the guard quickly stops them at the gate with a hand held firm. "State your business," he commands, only glancing once in Sabrina's direction. Standing much taller than his dad, the guard makes Sabrina feel uneasy. He shakes a little as he waits for his mother to answer. "My daughter," Georgia replies, touching Sabrina on the arm, "is one of the girls from the village who's been chosen to be a maid here." Being referred to as daughter makes Sabrina uncomfortable, but not unhappy. Being told to curtsy like a girl, Sabrina wastes no time bowing to the guard to introduce himself. "Sweet girl," he smiles. "Nice to meet you, young lady. I'm Sir Stephen." "Can you take her to where she's supposed to be?" Georgia asks. "She's supposed to meet Governess Winterfield." I can, Stefan replies, signaling another guard behind the portcullis to take over from him. Come, follow me. Loud metal clanking can be heard as the portcullis slowly rises in front of him. Amazed that the heavy metal object can be moved, Sabrina watches in awe. Eventually, Stefan brings them to a small entrance at the side of the grand house and bids his farewell to Sabrina. Georgia must also say goodbye as Sabrina enters the castle to start her first workday. Following one of the other, much older maids, he's directed into a small room of the kitchen and asked to change into a uniform. Being shown a simple dress with an apron attached, Sabrina is pleased he doesn't have to get completely naked to get into the uniform. He easily gets himself changed without any suspicion. This is the new girl, a stern, round-faced woman asks as she stands in the doorway of the small changing room. The other maid with Sabrina nods. Yes, she's ready to get started. The round-faced woman stares at Sabrina before looking her up and down. My goodness, she remarks, a little surprised. Instantly, Sabrina begins to sweat. He's nervous, he's already rattled onto the fact he's not really a girl. Scrunching his face, he waits for her to let the cat out of the bag. You look just like the princess. The round-faced woman laughs, looking at the other maid for confirmation. Just look at the face and hair. I'd swear she was standing before us if I hadn't just seen Evangeline in her room. Stunned by the comparison with the princess, Sabrina can't help but smile wider than an ocean. My name is Sabrina, he replies curtly, remembering his manners. The round-faced woman looks pleased as she returns the gesture. Mrs. Winterfield, she replies. Now come, you're working with me today, and we're waiting on the princess.